A huge part of high-level Scrabble strategy is learning to see and efficiently work towards bingos, or plays using all 7 of your tiles, earning an extra 50 bonus points in the process. It's the Scrabble equivalent of a home run in baseball or a touchdown in football. The very best Scrabble players in the world average just over 2 bingos per game. That's what makes the game you're about to see between New Zealander Alastair Richards, no relation, and Malcolm McAnulty so mind-boggling. This game takes place at the 2015 South Australian Championship, with Alastair going first. Going first in a Scrabble game, you've got a roughly 15% chance of drawing a bingo, and Alastair draws one here. Heroin for 78 points. Malcolm, on the other hand, plays Juvie for 28. With the J and V together on his rack, his odds of having a bingo are close to 0. Alastair draws all low point tiles, including the valuable S, and he's got a second bingo here in Lorries for 75, which he hooks onto heroines to grab some extra points. Malcolm plays a weaker bingo tile in the W with white for 15, after which Alastair draws even more well-balanced tiles, including the ING combination. With the obscure aliening available for 60 points here, he finds the more common word of learning, grabbing 14 additional points. Malcolm plays bluer for 26, and Alastair draws his first ugly tiles of the game, with 5 vowels and a Y accompanying his F. He makes his top scoring move of Fey for 34 here, which is a solid choice, using up the upper right triple before Malcolm can do so himself. The only blemish is the 4 vowel leave, which computer analysis suggests will draw into a playable bingo next turn about 6.5% of the time. Malcolm answers with Havocs for 28, after which Alastair draws DMT to his 4 vowels. This is exactly the type of consonant-heavy draw he needed, and he can now play Edemata for 87 at the top of the board. However, he spots an even better choice using the O of Havocs, a variation of the same word, for 94 points instead. Malcolm continues to fight on, playing Pav for 14 and hoping to land a bingo of his own with both blanks still yet to be played. But it's Alastair who draws the first blank, and he spots his best option of Gasifier to the triple for another 83 points, his 5th bingo of the game. Malcolm draws even more vowels after his last move and dumps as many as he can with audio for 17, and Alastair has to slow down for a moment with duplicated I's and a W to deal with. While Wooly would balance his rack nicely, it also creates a potentially lucrative S and R hook for Malcolm, so he opts instead for Vow for 24 points. While this move does keep both of his I's on his rack, the rest of his letters are nicely balanced, giving him a bingo next turn about a quarter of the time. Next, Malcolm plays Hoya, dumping off his high-scoring H and Y on the triple for 34 points. In the process, the move creates a 7-letter bingo lane on the second row, and after drawing an N and an O, Alastair can play Etiolin for 75, his 6th bingo of the game. For reference, I have never myself played 6 bingos in my career of over 1,700 games, so we're getting into extremely rare territory here. As well as things have gone for Alastair, it's been the opposite for Malcolm as he plays Cheese for 22, clearly struggling with a U-less Q. Alastair gets even more good news with the second blank, but the board is getting tight. With this many consonants on his rack, the P of Pav and the S of Havocs aren't realistic bingo targets, which leaves just the O of Audio as a potential option. Most expert players would look to play off the K here with options like Pluke for 44. Alastair has been one of the top players in the world for most of the last decade, and true to form, he spots his one playable bingo here. The very tricky Drop Lock for 82 points, representing bingo number 7 in this game. Now down by over 400 points, Malcolm can at least hit his X relatively hard with Kex for 42, blocking off the triple lane for Alastair. There are now 2 tiles remaining in the bag, and Alastair has drawn another well-balanced set of tiles, highlighted by another ING combination. However, as good of a tile as the Z may be, it's not actually that good for playing bingos. Fortunately for Alastair, there's a fantastic place for him to dump off that Z, forming Za in 2 directions for a whopping 42 points. Given the unseen tiles, Alastair's leave can combine with an S draw to form bingos of bastings and beatings in 2 separate spots. Similarly, an R draw would give him berating and the obscure brasting, again in 2 separate spots. A hidden benefit of Za is that it makes plays through the P that might block both of these 2 locations at once impossible for Malcolm. Forced to choose one or the other, Malcolm elects to block the bottom of the board with muttons, preventing plays through the S and the O. Alastair doesn't draw the R or S that he was hoping for. Instead, he draws the D. This tile doesn't give Alastair unblockable bingos in 2 spots. However, because Malcolm blocked the lower part of the board, Alastair can now end the game with debating for 64 points, his 8th bingo of the game, tying the all-time record en route to a final score of 731 to 238. This is only the second time a player has played 8 bingos in a single game in Scrabble history. Several of the bingos Alastair played here are normal words, including heroin, learning, debating, and arguably lorries as well, but the rest were more obscure, especially the very low probability drop lock, which most players would have missed. While Alastair definitely drew incredibly well to pull off this feat, we have to give him a ton of credit for his tougher finds. If you want to see that other 8 bingo game broken down on this channel, make sure to subscribe, as I'll be covering that one as well very soon. And if you're a Scrabble player yourself, let me know in the comments what is the highest number of bingos that you have played in a single game. If it's less than 8, don't be ashamed. You're in good company with 99.9% of the rest of the Scrabble world.